How's it going, everyone? This is your friendly neighborhood Hookah. Just tuning in again on this Monday, January 20th. 2019 has already been a really good year for me so far. I work in the car business, so I've now hit 7.5 cars at the end of this weekend. I know some other people be pushing out more, but right now for me, that is good. I've had a bad 2 months. November and December, one is kind to me. But now this month, I've decided to bust my ass a little bit more, work a little bit harder, and close. So now we're at 7.5 cars, thanks to everybody at work and thanks to me a little bit because I can't close every deal. But I got a shout out to Joe and I got a shout out to Edna for helping me out with the deals I could not close. So if they're watching this, which they probably won't until I make them watch it, thank you guys because you guys are great. Sorry I wasn't here last weekend. Last week, sorry, not last weekend. I was a little busy, a lot of personal stuff and a lot of nonsense that was going on. Now that I'm back in business and I'm back and ready to go. So let me tell y'all about a little thing I know and that I just recently seen because we're trying this new segment out recently called Hookah and Movies. So that's where me next time it's gonna be my buddy Blaine and my buddy Nico. Nico had work and school, so he's a little bit busy. Blaine has work and he gets a little bit tired on Monday, so we're gonna work something out later. We all three of us actually sit down and talk about different movies we have just seen. Right? So now we are doing this one on me. Oh, hold on, let me turn on my fan. Turn it off. Nah, I'm gonna leave that on my feet so I can keep warm. Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna be talking about a certain movie that came out. If you don't know me very well, and if you don't really talk to me, you wouldn't know that I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan, amongst other nerd-like things, because that's what I enjoy. I started the last video talking about Venom. I'm gonna delete that one because I think it's a little bit too far gone to talk about Venom. But we are going to talk about the next best thing for me personally, Dragon Ball Z, and we're going to talk about the Dragon Ball Super movie that just came out, Dragon Ball Broly. I follow a lot of Dragon Ball like stuff. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. Hookah, movies, TV, stuff like that. I actually follow this guy called Geekdom 101. He's actually super smart, super cool. I love watching his videos. So I keep up with all the Dragon Ball stuff with him when Dragon Ball Super was in production. I watched the Japanese subtitled because I thought it was a little bit interesting and I wanted to keep up with the show. So I didn't get everything on Toonami dubbed and I got it late. So when I got to find out it was subbed, I started watching the series a lot head forward. Got myself Funimation, the Funimation app. I kept up with that every week. Me and Isaac would watch. Me and producer Mag Isaac would always watch it on Saturdays when it came out. We called it Dragon Ball Super Saturdays. So now that that's over and we went to go see the Dragon Ball Super movie. If you haven't seen that movie, you're about to be spoiled. If you have already seen that movie, can we talk about it? Because that was fantastic. My phone keeps going off. I don't know about what. So we're talking about Dragon Ball Super Broly. Oh my gosh. First of all, if you haven't finished Super just yet, I suggest you watch the Dragon Ball Super subbed. If you only watch it dubbed, I only say that because watching it subbed is just as good. And then the dub voice acting, no, it just comes later, because they gotta wait for it. But Dragon Ball Super Broly, whew. So in the beginning of the film, it's you're not gonna get all the references right away because Goku and Vegeta are now training after the Tournament of Power. So the Tournament of Power, the Universe Survival arc, is what it just finished up as, and that's basically what had happened. Was you have 10 fighters from several different universes. If all the fighters lost in a certain universe, because it wasn't just a regular tournament base, it was a free for all. It was a open-ended battle. Mm-hmm. So if everyone lost in your universe was erased. So it was down to Universe 7 and 11 at the very end. Goku and Universe 7's team, right? And everybody with them. And then Universe 11, which is the OP universe, apparently, because all those Monday to Fridays were like a god tier level. There was Topo, the new god of destruction, in the lineup, and there was Jiren, super OP. And you know what? Jiren fighting Superman is something I want to see. So there's that. Right now, I'm smoking my Tangier's purple candy with a dash of cane mint that I just picked up not too long ago from my favorite hookah lounge, the Red Room. So they always hook me up every once in a while with that flavor, and I love them for it because when I'm waiting for flavor like I am right now, and we're gonna be talking about some of those flavors I'm getting in pretty soon. and another product that we're going to reveal on the show very soon as well. So we're going to be talking about that later, but let's talk about what we have right now. Right now, we're smoking out of my Mob Cloud King, per usual, my Timber hose, my new favorite hose as of right now. But let's get to the topic again. Dragon Ball Super Broly. Holy moly, Broly was something else. Like I said, if you haven't caught up with the Tournament of Power, they make a couple references in the beginning, talking about after how Goku has fought all these other strong people in different universes, he can't keep himself from getting stronger. And we all know who Goku is. You know, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, you know this dude's obsessed with getting stronger and becoming the best. He wanted to be the very best that no one ever was. To fight them was his real test. To achieve Ultra Instinct was his cause. Dragon Ball? I don't care if that's cringy. It's alright. It happens. Stuff like that happens. This is what I mean. This is me, honestly. You guys already know. So, like I said, Dragon Ball Super Broly. Now we're at that point in time, and then we go to a little bit of a flashback in the beginning of the movie. You know, back then when Frieza first becomes, you know, ruler of, because you know how Frieza is, Galactic Emperor, evil guy, overall super racist prick. Yeah, he's racist towards Saiyans, and it's actually kind of funny. I mean, racism isn't funny, but the way he acts with them, you just know he's a racist, and he hates Saiyans. He like absolutely loathes them. As his words, he loathes Saiyans. So it cuts back to way back in the day where Frieza first becomes, you know, the Saiyans overlords, right? And back then, we have a lot of this beginning of the movie was set in the past, which was very interesting. So if you don't know this, Dragon Ball Z had several movies back in the day. They had Dragon Ball Super Broly, they had Legend of Bardock, they had not Legend of Bardock, Bardock, son of Broly, son of Goku, and then they had two more Broly movies and Fusion Reborn. So these five movies all play into effect because they all kind of mash up in this Dragon Ball Super movie. So to give you a basic rundown, Bardock, the Bardock special, Son of Goku, that was about the story of Bardock, Goku's dad, and how in the final days where Kakarot, or Goku as we know him, was sent off to Earth, and Frieza blew up the planet, basically. So that's one aspect that's part of this movie that got redone by Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball. So Dragon Ball gives you a little history of it. So Akira Toriyama liked the idea of Goku's father, so he drew the designs. He didn't, you know, write the story or anything. He just drew all the characters. So he drew that, and he drew Bardock, and that was the story of how Bardock ended up seeing the future of destruction of planet Vegeta, and he saw Goku becoming, you know, Goku and defeating Frieza. But Bardock was so obsessed about changing the future, he tried to take on Frieza on his own, and he tried to get all the other Saiyans to do it with him, but they didn't want to listen, and the planet was destroyed, which we get the, you know, regular Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball kind of continuity. So that was in the past, and that's what happened. So next, let's talk about Dragon Ball movie. I forget what movie it is. I think it's like 8 or something. And that's when they introduced Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan. So the story about that, Paragus, Broly's father, which we'll get to in a minute, and Broly were pretty much exiled from planet Vegeta. King Vegeta tried to kill Broly and send him off world, and then he ended up surviving, and then Broly became, you know, angry and became more powerful and just started just blowing up everything. Paragus controlled Broly by giving him a collar so he can keep him submissive, and then when the time came right, he was going to take his revenge on Vegeta, the Great Saiyan Prince, and decided to, you know, take revenge. And then the story of that happened, and then we have the next two Broly movies. Broly's Second Coming was Broly survived the end of the first movie where he supposedly was killed, right? He ended up going to Earth, and by that time, Gohan and Goten were looking for the Dragon Balls, and then they discover Broly, and Broly wakes up and then becomes even more powerful, becomes a super raised out Super Saiyan, right? The legendary Super Saiyan, super buff. If you play any of the Dragon Ball Z games, Broly's a very popular character. He's a really buff guy with green hair. So there's that. So then that happens, and then he's defeated again, and then in the third movie by some odd odd situation, he ended up becoming, a clone, and
Mhm.
then they added something stupid. Bio Broly is the worst Broly film. I don't recommend you watch it. Then there's Fusion Reborn, where Goku and Vegeta become Gogeta and fight a villain named Janemba. I mentioned these because as I go through this little movie review, we're gonna touch a little bit on every last one of them. So Akira Toriyama decided to reboot the whole series, all those movies, and kind of put them in the Dragon Ball Super continuity now. So now there's no real sort of canon when it comes to Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball GT is too far in the future, and they kind of canned that back in the day. So that's what Dragon Ball Super is in between. Dragon Ball Super takes place in between Dragon Ball, the end of Dragon Ball Z, when they defeated Kid Buu, to the final episode. So in that like time frame, that's when Dragon Ball Super happens. So there's that. So back to the movie, we have Dragon Ball Super Broly. We're now, like I said, we're in the past. So we're talking about Bardock's little life and how Broly and Paragus were exiled. Broly was sent to a far off world where it was uninhabitable because his potential to become stronger outgrew Vegeta's. And King Vegeta, his father, was a little bit jealous and didn't like that. So he sent him off world. Paragus didn't like it. So Paragus thought he would be a great asset to the Saiyan race. And he specifically says it can be a very beneficial to us for him to be there. But King Vegeta didn't see it that way, and King Vegeta sent him off. Oh man, it's a little strong. Let me ash these real quick. So yeah, so King Vegeta sent him off. Paragus didn't like it. Paragus was on the got into a Saiyan pod and went off. Another not into a Saiyan. He went into a ship and took off. Then there was another Saiyan with him, and he never fought. He was just kind of a tech. So he went with them, and then they get on this planet called Vampa, and Broly ended up, finding a way to survive by eating one of the creatures that was there, and he ate it. Ate some kind of juice or something, like I don't know what they were made of, but it looked disgusting. So he was surviving off of that. So Paragus was actually really surprised about that. So by then, you know, free they were all working for Frieza, so they had the Frieza Force uniforms and all that nonsense, right? So they get there, and then the saying that went with Paragus was, "Oh no, we're trapped here. We can't get back, and we're gonna run out of food and water." Blah blah. Then Paragus, the arrogant jackass he is, decides to kill the other Saiyan. So now it's just him and Broly, and they're trapped in this world forever. That's when we go a little bit further into it, and we meet Bardock for the first time in this continuity, and we see the Bardock. If you watch the Bardock special, never liked his kids. He didn't really care for them. He was just saying, he's like, you know what, they'll be fine, right? So there's that. Then we realize that okay, that's not the greatest parenting. But now in this one, they actually make him like they make him like a caring father. So he's like turned into Kakarot. He's like, okay, I gotta go see my son. I've been just got back from this mission, but he didn't understand why all the Saiyans were being brought back to the to planet Vegeta. He thought it was fishy. He didn't trust Frieza. Basically, he didn't trust him. He said something didn't feel right. Why would he bring them all back when if they were just dropping off new weapons? Why did he have to come personally? So all the Saiyans were coming back to planet Vegeta at that point. So then we meet Goku's wife, Gine, which we've never seen before. Not Gine, Goku's mother. We never seen her before, and this is the first time we're seeing her. I mean, if you read the Dragon Ball minus manga, you know who she is. And the story of Bardock, and this is actually kind of extra in all these bonus my Dragon Ball minus thing. So now that we see them, and we see Goku in a little pod. He's a baby still. He's not even, I think, 1 or 2 years old at that point. And then he's like, Bardock says, you know what? We're gonna give him a pod. We're gonna send him to this planet called Earth, where it's not out of Frieza's reach, and no one's gonna find him. We're gonna send him there to be, to be safe. They basically made him Superman, which personally I didn't really like. I didn't like the fact that he was now becoming like a Superman as character, because that was never. I mean, yeah, they're very similar to migrants from a dying world. I didn't. I thought that was cool, but I don't like how they made it seem so much like Superman. That it was kind of it for me personally. I didn't like it. Some people kind of like it. Me on the other hand, I don't. So Yeah, they send him off, and then next thing you know, Frieza blows up the planet because Frieza is afraid of the legend of the Super Saiyan and the Super Saiyan God. If you haven't seen the other two Dragon Ball Z movies titled Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, or watched the Dragon Ball Super, or read the Dragon Ball Super manga, or even watched the Dragon Ball Super anime, you would know that the Super Saiyan God is what Goku now achieves, and that's why he has Super Saiyan Red and Super Saiyan Blue, and then triggered Ultra Instinct. So Ultra Instinct doesn't come up in here at all, which is okay. I didn't really care for it. Be quite honest for you. I mean, I think it was just Ultra Instinct Omen before he had the silver hair was cool. But giving him silver hair was just another form for Goku, and he don't get me wrong, he was such a badass with it. But it took him forever to unlock it. But that doesn't come up in this movie. So as we're now, Goku, the planet blew up. Planet Vegeta's gone. Broly and Paragus are on another world, and that's where we take most of these from. Now we go back to the present day, where Goku and Vegeta have just finished the Tournament of Power, and now they're training. Lord Beerus is there, chilling on an island as he's trying to nap, as Beerus usually does, and Whis is stuffing his face with Bulma. So, and then this joke, like as it continues, they sense something that, or Trunks calls Bulma and be like, "Hey, we just got robbed. The lab's gone, and now the Dragon Radar and the Dragon Balls are now gone." And it's pretty funny. They're like, "Why were you collecting the Dragon Balls anyways?" As they're going to find the last Dragon Ball in the icy part of the world. And he's like, "Wait, why did you even want the Dragon Balls? That doesn't make sense. You have everything. You're rich. What do you need? No one died. No one needed medical attention." It's like, I just wanted the Dragon Balls. Like, why did you want the Dragon Balls, Bulma? Why did you want them? It's like, I wanted to look younger, okay? I wanted to look younger. And everyone's like, why? Why do you want to look younger? I wanted to look at least 5 years. I'm like, well, why didn't you wish for 10 years? 5 years doesn't look noticeable. So if you use 5 years, you're going to be fine. So that was a little joke there, which I thought was hilarious because that's super funny. Right, so that's why they wanted to get the Dragon Balls. Now Frieza's back on his ship, and he's now aware that the 7 Dragon Balls are about to be summoned. So we're like, oh, okay. Now they're on Frieza's ship. It's like, oh, why did you want the Dragon Balls, Frieza? Oh, yeah, you can't wish for Goku and Vegeta to be dead. Well, he doesn't know he can't wish someone to be dead with the Dragon Balls, anyways. It's out of the dragon's power. So he's like, oh, no reason. And then one of his subordinates was like, I know why Lord Frieza wants the Dragon Balls. Like, why? He's like, do you want to live forever? He's already been dead. He's like, no, I realize being dead just sucks. So living eternally is going to be boring. So he doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to be immortal anymore. He's like, what do you want? He's like, oh, I know what Lord Frieza wants. He wants to be taller. He's like, what? He's like, yes, I want to be taller. You got it. Everyone keeps saying I'm short. So I want to be 5 centimeters taller. So no one notices the difference. So it looks like I'm still growing. I'm like, what? It was hilarious to us in the theater because Bulma and Frieza had the same kind of idea. 5 years or 5 centimeters older and taller. That was hilarious. I personally thought that was a great joke. The people in our theater liked it too, so that was really funny. On this time, during this time, like whether now Frieza's now on his way to go get the 7th Dragon Ball, and now we see Broly come back into play because now by this time Goku and Vegeta are older and therefore so is Broly, right? So Broly is on this planet with Paragus, and their 2 Frieza Force members are looking for stronger fighters because the Frieza Force is really low and the fighters suck, basically. So that's where they're in recruitment to go find more. So they find Broly and Paragus. Paragus looks old as shit now. He's got gray hair. He's been living on this planet for like 20 plus years. And Broly is now, an adult, and he's timid. He's very timid. He has no social interaction. So it differs from when Broly first appeared the last time. He was just quiet, and Paragus was older, and he had some kind of grand plan to get rid of Vegeta in the Broly movie. Now here we see that Paragus has a plan. He wants to get revenge on Vegeta because the sins of his father for banishing them now fall onto Vegeta because King Vegeta's gone. And Paragus didn't know that the planet blew up until we met Frieza. So now Paragus and Broly were brought to Frieza, and they're now talking to them and figuring out, well, like, well, what if I can tell you, you can get rid of Vegeta? I need a Saiyan of my own. And now he has recruited Broly and Frieza. The Frieza has recruited Broly and Paragus to that. So now that's what's happening here. And now we're into the next part of this movie where now everyone's meeting for the first time. We find out that Broly gets angry and gets very primitive and tries to fight anyone. And Paragus doesn't want him to get too rowdy, so he has this little control collar, which shocks him and puts him back into a sane state. Because if Broly gets too angry, he loses control, and that at that point he wasn't the legendary Super Saiyan. He didn't have the big buff green hair or anything. So that's what we have there. So now they're all kind of talking. So one of the I forget her name. One of the people who found Broly thinks that's a dick move. Like you shouldn't be, trying to control your son like that. Blah blah blah. So she takes it. She takes the collar, the remote collar, and just hides it. And in this way, we find a little bit more about Broly. We find out he's a very kind-hearted Saiyan, which is very different because if you know the Saiyan race, they're a bunch of warriors and they're mostly like Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz, total pricks. So Vegeta warmed up to us eventually, but we didn't get that effect with Nappa and or Raditz because they're now dead. Oh, I'll add that we do get a little callback to a lot of the characters we haven't seen in a very long time. When Frieza comes back into, comes to see the Saiyans for the first time, we see the Ginyu Force, we see Zarbon, Dodoria, King Cold, and characters like that. And then we get a little glimpse to when the planet blew up. We see Baby Raditz, we see little Vegeta, and we see Nappa with hair. Nappa with hair always looks funny because he's got a little plop of hair, but he doesn't have like an actual, doesn't have actual full-blooded hair, and he's still got the mustache of Nappa. So there's that. So there's there, and then now we're now finally reached Earth. Frieza goes there and tries to get the seventh. He grabs the seventh Dragon Ball for himself, and they're about to make a wish, but they first want to test out Broly. Goku and Vegeta sense another strong power level on the ship. So Paragus introduces himself that I'm Paragus, your father banished me, blah blah blah. I'm here to get revenge. And Broly can't hold himself. He sees Vegeta, and all Broly knows at this point is that Vegeta is the reason why he was abandoned on that planet. He was the reason why he was banished there. So Broly's just getting anxious. So Paragus is like, now Broly, attack. And all you see is Broly shoot at Vegeta, and Vegeta is enjoying himself. He's like, all right, fine, this is going to be a good fight. They start fighting, and then it triggers a little bit more from him, right? He has to go Super Saiyan, so he sees the gold hair, and Broly's fighting him. He's fighting him in base form. Broly's in base form. Vegeta is now in Super Saiyan form, and they're now duking it out real hard. And this is where we're getting to a lot of the action part of the movie. So we're seeing a whole bunch of fighting. Vegeta is pushing itself, and then we see for the first time, it's been in the manga, but it hasn't really been in the anime or anything else. We see Vegeta go to Super Saiyan God mode. The red hair Vegeta, he looks younger. He's a lot more physically fit, and it's crazy because we've never seen this before. And for me seeing this for the first time, I'm a big Vegeta fan. I love how Vegeta is just such a prideful Saiyan and has so much to go back for, because he's one of the last few of his kind, so he wants to prove to everybody that they're still important. So Vegeta's fighting him and everything else, and they're going at it. And then it's now triggering to the point where Broly's now learning how to fight better by fighting Vegeta. He's having sparring matches with him, and he's going. Frieza's just watching back. He's like, this is interesting. You mean to tell me is your son done after he gets knocked around a little bit? He's like, I think he is, but then he gets stronger. He's fighting back, and that's which triggers Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue transformation. And for a quick minute, we see Vegeta get green hair, and it's kind of ridiculous. I don't like it. It's like, I think they did that purposely to make it seem like they can both achieve the legendary Super Saiyan kind of esque body style, but they're not. They're just triggering this, and that's where we figure out something interesting. So Broly's tail was cut off, and if you remember a saying, when they see the full moon, they become a great ape, or an Ozaru, or some force. But here's what happened: Broly had his tail cut off, and it's no longer growing back. So somehow Broly is able to tap in to the power of an Ozaru form or a great ape, and use that kind of strength. And if you use the Dragon Ball Zenzu 7 or the Daisenshu 7 like guidebooks and stuff like that, you will know that the Ozaru form or the Great Ape form gives you a 10 times multiplier of your original strength. So Broly's now fighting 10 times with his more actual strength, not by turning into Great Ape, but triggering that that strength and that energy. But he's losing himself. He can't focus. He's in a primal state of mind. So now he's fighting him, getting stronger and stronger. And then Goku's like, you know what? It's my time. And if you saw the teaser trailer, you see him warm up, getting all jumped up for this. He's like, I'm ready to fight. So now he goes and fights Broly, and then you get the callback, and you just see him power up and go Kakarot. And if you watch the original Broly movies, you'll know that Broly hated Kakarot or Goku because he cried too much as a baby next to him. Yeah, that's why Broly hated it. It's such a stupid reason to hate him. But that's what they wrote. I mean, what could I say? I didn't write it. So now Goku's fighting him. And then he's going to Super Saiyan Blue and fighting him now too. And you just see here, Frieza's like, could your son not turn into a Super Saiyan? A super what? That's a legend. Paragus responds. He's like, maybe this wasn't as useful as I thought. But then Frieza remembers back on Namek, when Krillin was killed, that triggered something in Goku, right? That triggered the fact that Goku became a Super Saiyan because he was super angry at Frieza. So he says, I wonder what would happen if I kill Paragus. Because Paragus is the only person that Broly knows, right? Really cares about. So Frieza kills Paragus. And then Blizz like, look what happened. He killed your father by accident. And that triggers Broly. And then that's when we start seeing the legendary Super Saiyan. Hold on a second, guys. It's a little harsh. So now that's what triggers Broly to become a legendary Super Saiyan. Or the legendary Super Saiyan form, or the Saiyan's true, or Super Saiyan's true form, or something like along those lines. I forget how they say it. Oh god, didn't spill nothing. So that's where we have that, right? So now that's where we get to see more. And now Goku's fighting to the best of his abilities and still getting bested. And now understand, the most powerful person that Goku or Vegeta has ever fought at that time was Jiren. So now they're making it seem like Broly is now stronger than Jiren at this point. I think it's been stated by several interviews. I forget, but now he's more powerful. Then this OP Monday to Friday known as Jiren, the man, the myth, the legend of Universe 11. See that rhyme there? Pretty clever, right? But now we're seeing this. So now Broly's achieved this green-haired form, and he's become buff, and he's become super powerful and everything. So now they're fighting it out, and then so they both, Goku and Vegeta, fight together to try to take on Broly, but it's not working. They need another dream, so they have to find a way to get out of there. So they fly over to Frieza, and then now Frieza is now seeing Broly for the first time in this green monstrous form. He's like, oh my god. Now Frieza's now fighting Broly. And now Goku uses instant transmission and goes to Piccolo, and they're trying to figure out a plan to stop him. Right? They're like, what do we got to do? And then Goku's like, well, Vegeta, there's one thing we got to do. Do you know the fusion dance? He's like, what? He's like, I remember Trunks talking about it. Are you talking about that ridiculous dance that you got to do to join forces? It's like, yeah. Like, I'm not doing that. We're not doing fusion. Well, the only way we can do fusion is with Potara earrings. That's how they got Vegeta. But they don't have Potara earrings, and they don't have time to go get it. So now Piccolo now teaches Vegeta Goku and Piccolo teach Vegeta how to do the fusion dance, and that's where we get into Fusion Reborn, where this part comes into play. Where because if you watch Fusion Reborn, when they had to fight Janemba, Goku and Vegeta had to do the fusion dance, to become Gogeta. So that now there's that. So now they're playing around. They only have it. They're basically using an hour and a half of time. So Frieza's fighting Broly for an hour and a half. And not only did Frieza fight Broly, Broly also attempted to fight Whis, and Whis is having a fun time of his life, saying, "Ooh, this is fun. Look at me not getting hit. Too slow." So now we get the point where Goku and Vegeta are now trying to like Goten and Trunks had the fat and this super frail form of their fusion until they get it right, and then that's when they finally get it. And then instead of going right away, you can tell that they're taking way more of Goku's personality. He's like, wow, I'm no longer Goku or Vegeta. What are we gonna call this? We were Vegito before, uh, Gaijita, Ojita, and then they were like, that's it, Gogeta. We need to have a perfect name because it would be cooler that way. I'm like, oh my god, come on, guys, this is ridiculous. So now Gogeta is in full effect and uses instant transmission again to get to Broly. And they're like, who are you? I'm no longer Vegeta or Goku. We are Gogeta. And now Gogeta is now fighting him in his base form, fighting Broly, which is now in Super Saiyan, super legendary Super Saiyan form, or green-haired Super Saiyan, or however the Super Saiyan form is for that. So now they're fighting now, coming at each other full force. Gogeta is now being pushed to Super Saiyan mode, and Super Saiyan mode, now he's in golden-haired Super Saiyan, and he's fighting, and then he eventually works his way up to Super Saiyan Blue. Now, this is the most critical part of the movie, for the most part, because if you know Dragon Ball Z, you know that most of these characters kind of die in the movies, right? That's what happened to Broly, that's what happened to Janemba, and all the other Dragon Ball Z movie villains. They die, with the exception of Beerus. Beerus is the only one who hasn't died because, he technically lost. Or no, Goku lost in that fight, yeah. So that's where we're at. So now he's about to use his final Kamehameha. He used the Soul Punisher technique, all this other stuff, all these throwbacks that we haven't seen for years. We haven't seen. So now we're at this point where Lemo, that's her name. Lemo goes and gets the Dragon Balls and summons the dragon. And now, Broly's about to get killed. Like, I wish for Broly to be transported to the planet he grew up on, planet Vampa. And then, right when Broly's about to be killed, and you see the final Kamehameha go forward, Broly gets teleported back to planet Vampa, where he's in base form, calm, and just wondering what the hell just happened. And then the two people who found Broly go back to go get him. Frieza's about to go blow him up, and then Gogeta stops him. He's like, And then Frieza's like, fine, I'll get my revenge another day, and leaves. And that's where pretty much, not where the movie ends, but that's where the fighting ends. And then that's where everyone's like, oh, you did it, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. And now we're back to planet Vampa, where, we have some people talking about what just happened. We're going to go stay with Broly, because if we're going to be with Broly, then we're not going to die for the Frieza Force. Frieza lets Broly stay there because eventually he's going to go back for him and try to use him to join his side. Right? So now they're on planet Vampa, and they're trying to find a nice place to live. Broly's now happy-ish. He's lucky he's not dead, basically. He's happy that his friends are now with him. And then Goku shows up. And Goku comes out with a set of capsules, gives them food, gives them water, stuff to survive on. And they're like, oh, we still view you as an enemy. Don't get too comfortable. He's like, oh, that's fine. You'll warm up to me. But as long as I can still fight Broly every once in a while, and I can train him and show him a few things, I would like to come back, if that's okay. And Broly's happy about that. He likes fighting Goku. He's a Saiyan, so he enjoys meeting other people of his own race, I'm assuming, right? And then he's like, oh, what's your name? And we're like, well, you guys can call me Goku. And this is the biggest turning point of the movie to me personally, because Goku has never accepted this part of his life. He's like, Broly, you could call me Kakarot. Now, the only person who's ever called him Kakarot there's a few people. There's Vegeta for the most part, because that's his Saiyan name. He refused to call him Goku. There was Nappa, and there was Raditz. Right? Those are the only three Dragon Ball Z, villains or people in general who called him that. Mm-hmm. So now there's that, and that's where the movie ends. and that's where the credits show. I had to use the bathroom, so I didn't even see the little end credit that they put in all those movies. So that now that we talked about everything that happened, the plot, the blah 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 blah, everything I just went through for about 30 minutes, we can now talk about my thoughts on the movie. I personally loved it. I didn't. There was nothing I didn't see wrong with it. The delivery on the jokes was great. The throwbacks I caught were fucking fantastic. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan, and I have like honestly all my Dragon Ball Z game. I have almost every Dragon Ball Z game that came out for the Xbox 360. I have Xenoverse 2, and I have Dragon Ball Fighters, and I have a Dragon Ball arcade stick. So I'm a big Dragon Ball fan. So the craziest part for me, I think, was the end, because it showed that Goku wasn't just he wasn't just Goku. He accepts the fact that he is Kakarot. He is a Saiyan from Earth, and we never hear Goku call himself Kakarot ever. So to hear him to say, "You can call me Kakarot," was a big thing for me. Be like, "Oh, he's finally accepted his Saiyan roots." I mean, he's probably accepted it a lot later, but that's the first time we've ever heard it personally. So that was actually a really cool thing to hear, that he's like, "Oh, you can call me Kakarot," and now he accepts his Saiyan roots. I loved the fact that they brought in Gogeta. Gogeta was a character that I really liked because I watched all the Dragon Ball series. I've watched Dragon Ball, I've watched Dragon Ball Z Kai, I watched regular Dragon Ball Z, I've watched Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball GT. The only time we ever seen Gogeta, other than the movies, was in Dragon Ball GT when he was Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So to see him on screen, on the big screen, was so great to me. I didn't see anything wrong with that. Let me close that. I should probably plug in my charger. Oh well. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is we finally get to see him accept his Saiyan roots. I think that's a really big thing for Goku, because Goku never called himself Kakarot. No one, he never let anyone else besides Vegeta call him Kakarot. He's like, no, my name is Goku. It's not Kakarot. It's Goku. So that's basically all that I have for you guys today. Really, there's not much more I can talk about other than the fact I love this movie. So if you like this movie as much as I do, if you like this movie as much as I do, or you want to talk about it a little bit more, leave a comment in the comment section below. Because personally, I thought it was great. I enjoyed it. I want to go see it again already. I got to find time in my schedule to go see it. So there's that. So my question is to you guys: did you like this idea for a video? Hookah movie reviews? Let me know in the comment section below, and leave a big thumbs up if you did, because honestly, I want to do more videos, more different kind of videos. So not Dragon Ball Z in particular, but I want to do more Hookah movie reviews. Next, we're probably going to do story time with the Hookahologist. Maybe we'll see what happens. That's why I tell you a ridiculous story of personal interest. So guys, like I said, that's all I have for you this video. If you liked it, go ahead and like, subscribe, and let me know if you want me to do more of these. I'm going to be doing more anyways, but it's nice to hear your guys' input. So, like I said, feel free to tune in and let me know. Till next time, guys. Oh, wait. Here's how you can find me on the internet. That's always what I forget. You can find me under the Hookahologist on Twitter and on YouTube. And then you can find me on Facebook under Tommy Rodriguez. You'll see this face. Also, you can find the Hookahologist page right there if you look under Hookahologist. And you'll see both of those. So, guys, that's, like I said, that's all I have. Let me know if you want to see more of these. I'll be happy to do them. I think they're fantastic. And I love movies. So I have no problem talking about movies on this channel. But until next time, guys, keep smoking.